You will not believe the transformation that is about to occur on this piece. We are taking it from burn pile baker's rack to a beautiful grill station. So stick with me as we start the transformation here at the Flipper's Guide. All right, y'all, before we even get started, let's talk about how rough this piece looks. Oh my goodness. I had a friend who owned this piece and it had been outside for years. She was done with it and was about to put it in her burn pile. So she asked me if I would like to take it and maybe try to make something out of it. I wasn't sure at first because look at it, but I decided, all right, I think I know what we can do. My husband has needed a grill station for years. He has been just working on a little teeny table next to the grill, and I think this will be perfect. So today we're going to be using Beyond Paint products to save this piece. I have been using Beyond Paint for years, and it is a perfect paint for beginners. It is user-friendly, and it has so much amazing coverage that I think it is a great paint for saving those pieces that you're not sure are going to be able to be saved. So let's take this piece from trash to treasure, and I will show you one step at a time how I make it over. If you haven't subscribed to my page yet, I would love for you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I love everyone in this community, and we have so much fun with makeovers, flips, and thrifts. On top of this piece falling apart, there was so much dirt in every crevice, and there were bugs. Do you see the bug that was literally right next to me? I don't know how I missed that, but I'm glad I didn't notice it. I did notice this one, however. Ew. But I got as much dirt off as I could. I used a TSP degreaser and just sprayed and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. Up next was removing the old rotten board from the top. It was not going to be saved. The next board was salvageable, thank goodness, so I didn't have to buy a new board. I just decided we are going to clean this one up big time. I then got to work removing the ironwork, and this stuff was heavy. After finding the right Allen wrench, I had to figure out how to unscrew it in between the little poles. It was a little tricky, but we got it done. Up next, we are removing this backing. As you can tell, it is practically falling apart, but how satisfying is it to get to just take these little junky pieces off? And I will be replacing it with a nice board, and I'm so excited about that, but let's take it off first and throw it away. It is my very favorite time of the video, painting time. These are the products I'll be using. They are from Beyond Paint. Beyond Paint sponsored this video today, and I am so excited to show you how well they work. I will also be using these flecks, and they will give my piece a countertop type look. And I will be sealing it to make sure that it lasts a long time, because it will be outside in the weather. So let's get started. What's cool is that Beyond Paint can now be found at your local Lowe's store, and I will also have all of the products linked in my description below. This paint looks pretty thick, but it's that thickness that gives it the amazing coverage. It goes on really smooth, and this is called licorice. That coverage makes me so happy every time. But let's talk about what mistake I made. I know that I should have taken these doors and handles and drawers out. I'm not sure why I left them on, and look at how much I struggled. Please, please, please learn from my mistake and don't do that the hard way. All right, I fixed my mistake, and now I took off all of the doors and the drawers, and I had a fun little surprise waiting for me. There's not a lot that grosses me out, but dead bug carcasses, yeah, I was not a fan. I got to work painting the interior, and it just looks so beautiful. I'm so excited to see what this black paint is going to do for this piece. As always, if you have questions about the process or if there's something that I didn't include, be sure to add them in the comments. I do not gatekeep around here. I would love to share any details or help you to answer any questions that you may have. I then moved on to the metal base, and there was a lot of gunk and cleaning that needed to happen there. Yeah, don't look at my scraper, it is rough. But this black paint adhered so well to even the metal, and I love that the paint has a built-in sealant, but I will also be sealing it as well, so do not worry. I got 2 coats put on the base and was ready to move on to the top. Now, it needs a lot of work, so we're going to sand it and get it ready for paint. Although I cleaned this top already, after sanding, I went ahead and re-cleaned it with another degreaser just to try to get some more. While that dried, I moved on to the doors. I used a combination of the brush and the roller in order to work on these doors, but using a tapping motion in those corners will really help you get into those hard to reach spaces. Let's clean off this ironwork. It was disgusting, and there were so many detail spaces that I had to hand clean each individual space. But it's fine, it all came off. And then I used the roller to follow each of those lines, and the paint actually adhered so well with the roller like this. I was worried that I was going to have to take a long time on this, but it worked beautifully. It's time for my favorite part, so I'm so excited to show y'all this. I grabbed my bright white paint, and because this piece is going to be a grill station for my husband, I wanted the top to look almost like a faux granite countertop. And this is one of the easiest ways to do it. I completely covered the top with bright white and did multiple coats to make sure that that paint was completely covering any of the color that was underneath on the counter. I also decided that I was going to have the shelves match the countertop. So I cleaned this one off with that TSP degreaser and then painted it with the bright white as well. Just wait, something exciting's coming, I promise. I went ahead and put on a second coat on this countertop. And like I said, with this Beyond Paint, it has beautiful coverage. So it is very rare that you are going to find a white that has full coverage after 2 coats. All right, are you ready for my favorite part? These are the flecks, so they are the game changer. This is what you add in order to have it look more like a granite countertop. You simply paint each section after you've gotten the coverage that you want and section off the paint, put 1 layer of paint, and then sprinkle on the flecks that you desire. So these are a smoked gray color and they have multiple colors mixed in, which is my favorite. I did a little bit of tapping it in with the brush and put them on the edges so that it would be a flush look. Then I let it sit for 2 to 4 hours and dry. Up next were the shelves, and I wasn't sure if I was going to add the flecks to the shelves, but then I remembered my husband is 6'6" and he will notice them. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, these hinges were kind of wonky. I wasn't really sure what to do, so I checked in with my manager, and she, gave me her best tips and tricks. She wasn't very happy that I had spilled flecks on her head, so I had to clean that off for her too. After a little bit of petting, she forgave me and I was allowed to get back to work. Both doors were missing a hinge on each side, so I headed to the hardware store to find a matching hinge and hopefully be able to fix these doors. What was difficult was that they did not have a hinge that matched exactly, so I picked the closest one, knowing that I had a jig at home that was for cabinet hinges, and I could make my own spaces and hinges for that. So that's exactly what I did. Thank goodness this jig allowed me to drill a hole that was bigger and would fit the larger hinge that I would be adding. The hinges to the door and crossed my fingers that it would work. I will say that adding hinges can be tricky. I did have to move them back and forth a little bit a few times to make sure that there were no spaces or gaps. But after getting it exactly where it needed to go, it worked out beautifully. Up next, I started cutting the 1/4-inch plywood board that I had because I was going to use that for the backing. I gave it a coat of the licorice to make sure it blended beautifully, and that coverage, of course, was so pretty. I first attempted putting this on by myself, but it is difficult to hold a board and screw it on at the same time. So my sweet daughter held it for me and we were able to screw that board backing on. I put screws in each corner and then followed it with nails just to make sure it was securely attached. After a few hours, it was then time to lightly sand those flecks. They looked so good, and I followed that with the sealant. What I love about this sealant is that it is indoor and outdoor use. It is water resistant, and it is going to give my piece that extra heavy-duty layer of protection that it will need for being outdoors as a grill station. Okay, it was time to add the hardware and put everything back together. I am so excited for you to see how this turned out. Let's remember this rough before . And here is the after. What do you think? I think my husband is going to be so in love. He will not even recognize the fact that this used to be a burn pile baker's rack. The difference is crazy. I am looking forward to getting to grill outside and just have some fun times on the patio with this piece. Thank you so much for watching the Flipper's Guide. I appreciate y'all being here and I can't wait to hear what you think. Be sure to check out the description below for all the products and add any questions or comments you've got. As always, you've got this.